Their story was one that captivated a nation. Three women, Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight, kidnapped, chained, beaten, raped, and held captive for a decade or more by a man they thought they could trust, a schoolmate's father, Ariel Castro. Add to that fact he was a school bus driver. Today, those brave women are sharing their story. Joining us now to tell us more about two of these ladies, how they're doing, and their experiences are Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists Mary Jordan and Kevin Sullivan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, tell me, Amanda and Gina shared their incredible memoirs. Tell us about them.
Well, they're doing pretty well considering what happened, and it took them a bit longer. Originally, we had hoped that all three would do one book together, but Michelle was more ready to talk, so she was out there last year. So right now, it's the very first time that Amanda and Gina have ever spoken about what happened inside there. Amanda Berry was one day shy of 17 when she was kidnapped, and Gina was only 14. Amanda went on to have a baby inside, and I think the real miracle here is that after 10 years of living without son, locked away, their families didn't know if they were dead or alive, they're back with their families and doing extremely well. That's wonderful. Now, on the picture there on the front of the book, that's Amanda there on the left. She was the one that actually finally kicked and clawed her way out of the house in Cleveland. What was on her mind?
Getting out of that house and getting home to her family. Castro was a kind of a master manipulator. He was very, very good at what he did inside that house, and he was obsessed about security. People often have said to us, I feel sorry for those young women, but if that had been me in that house, I would have figured out a way to get out. And it's simply not true. They were chained around their waist and around their ankles. They were chained to a radiator. So unless you can eat your way through iron, I don't see how you get out of those chains. And then once he eventually did take the chains off, he kept the door to their bedrooms locked obsessively, that he only unlocked them when he was in the house. And there was only one time in the 10 years that he messed up on that regime of his, and that was the day that they escaped. Amanda realized he wasn't home, and the first opportunity she had in 10 years, she took it.
And she took it. Wow. Now, Amanda bore Castro's child. What is her thoughts of him being the father of her daughter, Jocelyn?
I think she thinks that her baby was a gift from God. She was born on Christmas Day inside that house. She sees her daughter as hers, and she said, in fact, that when the baby was born, it changed all the dynamics in the house because he fell in love with the baby, and when he was happier, he treated all of them better. And of course, as the baby got older, it became harder and harder for him to hide any abuse. He eventually had to take the chains off them because the little girl was saying, "What's that? What's that?" And for a while, Amanda was simply saying it's a bracelet, but as the little girl grew up, she couldn't do that anymore.
We open the book with the scene of Amanda finding out that Castro has killed himself. He hung himself after just 30 days in prison.
Right.
And she's really conflicted about it because this is the father of her daughter. And she wanted her daughter she said, when she's 18, she could have gone to that prison and met with him and asked him all the questions that I know she's going to have. And she was so angry that he took away that opportunity.
Never had the chance. Okay, so Gina and Michelle Knight were put together quite a bit by Castro. You'd think they develop a relationship, but that's not the case now, is it?
Well, the issue was that Gina was only 14. She was the youngest there, and she wasn't quite ready to tell her story. So Gina and Amanda had asked Michelle to do this book all together. It would be nice if the three of them. But people, heal in different ways, and Michelle was more ready to talk. So she's been out there for over a year. She did her own book. But Gina and Amanda were a bit shyer, and it took a little longer. So actually this week is the very first time with this book that they're telling their story. So it just took a little longer.
How has it been for these girls reuniting with their families? Because I think it was Amanda's mom that has since died, right?
Yeah, Amanda's mom died when she was inside. She was very close with her mother. And she, Amanda and Gina kept in touch with the outside world through television, and Amanda saw on TV that her mother had died. Yeah. It was just devastating for her. So, but you know, 9 months after her mother died, her baby was born. So that gave her a new thing to focus on in the house, some real reason to stay strong inside the house. And now that they're out, you know, Amanda and her little girl, who's 8 now, are living in a house, and upstairs in the house is her sister and brother-in-law, and their 3 kids, and it's just it's a nice family dynamic for them. And Gina comes from, you know, a big, fun Puerto Rican family with lots of music and great food, and you know, and they're all back together now too. So they both feel safe, you know, for the first time since they were very, very young.
That's great. Okay, now here's the question: from this point on, what do these girls see for the future?
I think the first thing is they both want to finish their high school education. I mean, they were snapped up when Gina was in the 7th grade. And so they want to finish their education, and Gina has already gotten a job at a restaurant. They both learned how to drive. When they came out, you know, they were like, everybody's talking about iPads and Twitter, and you know, they had a lot to catch up on. They just missed all that. And so their every day is kind of a new experience. You know, when Amanda came out, she goes, I can't believe it. People order things delivered to their house online.
Oh my.
So there, you know, a lot happened in 10 years.
Gina got a job in a restaurant as a hostess in this little pizza place and loved it. You know, as Mary said, every single day is something brand new for them and kind of exciting. That's
incredible. Mary Jordan, Kevin Sullivan, authors of Hope, a Memoir of Survival in Cleveland. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. An incredible story. Now, if you'd like more information about Hope, just go to our website, WBOC.com, and click on her picture at the top of the page. Now, we just heard that Amanda, Gina, and Michelle's education was less than normal because of their extremely unfortunate circumstances. Well, coming up next, we're going to hear how education today is constantly changing and how one high school is helping kids to better understand in their own way.
Well, those high schools will soon be ending, and have you thought about what you're going to do with your kid this summer? Coming up, I'll tell you about some of the summer camp options available here on Delmarva. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.